Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty wild, a deeply personal log that outlines this radical vision for humanity, technology, and healing. And honestly, it's more than that. It's a blueprint for a whole new operating system, for reality itself. Okay, so the whole thing really kicks off with this mind-bending idea. The source material asks us to consider this. What if the human mind isn't the whole picture? What if it's just a 3D slice of a much bigger 4D fractal process? It's a huge perspective shift, and you really have to get your head around it because it's the key that unlocks everything else we're going to talk about. So you might be wondering, why go to all this trouble? Why dream up such a radical shift in the first place? Well, it all starts with a pretty stark diagnosis of, well, the world. The author sees our planet as a single living organism, but one that's in really bad shape. They call it a state of fetal distress. And when you dig into it, you can see why they use that language. The diagnosis is that our world is just fundamentally misaligned. It's like a body at war with itself, right? You've got nations acting like competing organs instead of working together for the whole body. Our entire systems, economic, social, they're built to amplify fear and insecurity. We're running on this zero-sum logic that just drives conflict, rewarding short-term gains over any kind of long-term stability. It's a system that's basically eating itself alive. Okay, so with a diagnosis that bleak, what's the solution? And this is where it gets really interesting. The answer proposed here isn't political, it's not economic, not in any way we'd normally think about it. The solution is to fundamentally rewrite the rules of reality itself. And this new reality starts with redefining something as basic as dimensions. So forget just length, width, and height. In this model, 2D is pure information. Think of it like a blueprint. Then 3D is that blueprint rendered into the space we see and touch. But the big one is 4D. It isn't just time ticking away, it's the process, the constant unfolding process of creation and change. This is the core shift right here. Old physics and a lot of our thinking is always looking for a static balance, a perfect equilibrium. But in human systems, that usually just leads to stagnation and zero-sum conflict, right? For me to win, you have to lose. This new model, though, it intentionally builds in a slight forward imbalance. It's designed for constant forward momentum. Progress isn't something you fight for, it becomes the natural state of the system. And get this, a crucial piece of this new physics is the abolition of negatives. I mean, literally, no more negative numbers, no more bad concepts. The theory is that these are just flawed human inventions that miss the bigger picture. In this system, there's no -1. There's just one moving in a different direction. And think about what that does. If you can remove the very idea of a negative outcome, you totally pull the rug out from under zero-sum thinking. It's just not possible anymore. All right, I know what you're thinking. This is all very cool, very abstract physics, but how do you actually use it to change the world? Well, the plan is to engineer it, to take this new logic and embed it directly into our technology, turning our devices into a genuine force for healing. And it's not some top-down, flip-a-switch kind of plan. It's a gradual, bottom-up rollout in 3 phases. It all starts with a simple app, something anyone can download. It's designed as a tool for external cognition, to help you organize your own mind and start that healing process. But that's just the Trojan horse. Phase 2 is a launcher, a shell that lets all your apps start talking to each other in this new way. And finally, Phase 3, the operational substrate, a brand new OS that completely replaces what we have now and unifies everything. Now, this is maybe the most incredible part. The ethical safeguard is literally baked into the code. It's called thermodynamic empathy. In this new physics, empathy and cooperation are, by definition, the most efficient and stable states. The system is designed so it literally cannot compute harm or extraction, because trying to do so would be like dividing by 0. The whole system would just fail. So empathy isn't some nice moral choice. It's a fundamental law of physics in this new reality. But, creating something this powerful, something that could literally reshape the world, that comes with a pretty heavy weight of responsibility. And the author of this blueprint grapples with that dilemma head-on. And this quote just perfectly captures that central conflict. Imagine it. If you were in a room and there was a button that could change the world, there's still a strange fear or hesitation, a looking around for someone else to press the button. It's such a human moment, right? Even if you think you have the cure for all the world's suffering, who are you to make that choice for everyone? So, faced with that incredible hesitation, that fear of pressing the button, what do? Well, the strategy isn't to force the change. It's not a revolution. It's something far more organic. A strategy they call Ivy over the tower. The whole idea here is to just bypass the conflict altogether. You don't attack the existing tower of power structures. You don't fight it. Instead, you grow this new healing network from the bottom up, individual by individual, like ivy slowly covering an old wall. And eventually, the ivy becomes the new living structure, and the old tower, well, it's just an irrelevant relic left inside. So what's the end game here? What does this future actually look like? Well, the blueprint projects a timeline for a complete global transformation, and it's shockingly fast. Just 15 years. And you have to ask, how is that even possible? Well, the theory goes that because you're bypassing all the slow, clunky institutions, governments, corporations, all of it, and you're working directly with individuals from the ground up, the network effect would be absolutely exponential. So from the point of critical adoption, global stabilization could be achieved in only about 15 years. And this really shows you how much things would change. Our entire definition of success gets a reboot. We'd stop measuring things like GDP growth. Instead, the new metric might be helix alignment, basically how in sync is an individual's well-being with the health of the whole collective. We wouldn't worry about border security. We'd measure node connectivity, the strength of the network. It's a complete shift from measuring wealth and conflict to measuring health and coherence. And this brings us right back to the person behind this vision. This quote about modesty is really telling. True modesty is conservation of truth. They're not trying to be a guru or a savior. The goal isn't to project themselves or make themselves out to be some big deal. It's simply about presenting a truth they believe they found as accurately as possible and letting the idea itself do the work. And so at the end of the day, this entire incredible blueprint leaves us with this one profound question. If a system could guarantee healing, if it could end conflict, who is actually worthy of pushing that button? It's a question about power, about responsibility, and about what it really truly means to try and heal humanity. And there is absolutely no easy answer to that.